This afternoon, I would like to share about the mystery of life. I wanted to blame Brother Dwayne for something we were talking about. About eschatology. Sorry for the people that are not in my class. Eschatology. Talking about future events, future times, what's going to happen. The mysteries that we see throughout Scripture. And that word mystery, things that are a mystery, things that are unsolved, things that you don't know the outcome. But the word mystery basically means it's a secret. It's for you to find out. And it says the mystery of life. That's what I chose for my title of my outline. We talk about Joseph. I know some of you have different sign names for Joseph, but I like to use them only for many colors. What I'll be using today. I'm going to start in the book of Genesis. Chapter 37. Genesis 37. Before we go on, I wanted to get back to the point of this today. There's a lot of verses in this chapter, but we're going to talk a little bit about what happened to Joseph and then his response to it. Let's start with a word of prayer. Our dear Father, we thank you for full of grace and mercy. Lord, that you are sovereign. Lord, we see the works that you've made. We see how you care for us, provide our needs. In the church, problems, situations pop up, Lord, you always take care of them. Problems we know, Lord, can be good because you help us through them. Help us, Lord, to trust you. Be with our pastor and his wife, and the children and our family on the road, back home. Please protect them. Be with me this afternoon, especially my shoulder, that it will not be a bother as I sign here, Jonathan, as he voices judgments. Help us to take in that you would have us be dependent on the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit speak to hearts. We can listen and learn something this afternoon. This may be a story we even may know. But Lord, as we look at the mystery of life, help us to apply these things to our lives today. Thank you much in Jesus' name, amen. Now, this character Joseph, I'm not going to go into his background because there is a lot of information to go into. But Joseph's father, his name was Jacob. And Jacob had a wife, and her name is Rebecca. Thank you. Let me for a second. No, it's not my daughter, Rebecca. They had this baby. And they had a total of 12 sons. 2 were from Rebecca. There were other ones, Rachel. These were the 2 from Rebecca. We're going to talk about Joseph. Joseph grew up in this home. And at the age of 17, we're going to look a little bit at his life. Look at verse 2. I only put up verse 3, but let's look at verse 2. It says, and these are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brother, and the lad was with the sons of Belial, Bilhah. and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. That was verse 2. You guys know the story, what's happened in Joseph's life. You know that he had a dream about the stars and so on. You know about those things. God used Joseph's life, and he had a purpose for it. Joseph didn't know what was going to become of his life. He didn't know what was going to happen down the road. But his father asked him to go out and check on some of his brothers. And Joseph said, sure. And he headed out to the fields. He did his checking. And these 11 of his brethren took hold of him. Didn't know what was going on, but they stuck him in a pit. And first of all, what would your response be when it comes to this, Joseph's life? How would you respond? Well, Joseph, I'm sure, responded in shock. Had no idea where this came from. He said, I was just obeying Dad, just going out to check on my brothers. Joseph sometimes would do that. He would check on his brothers, and his brothers would make mistakes, and he'd bring back an evil report, just out of obedience. Joseph had been favored. God had chosen to do something down the road, but his father had favored him as well. And he was stuck in this pit. And he said, Lord, you have to help me. Verse 20. Verse 20. Come now therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, some evil beast hath devoured him. And we shall see what will become of his dreams. So these brothers that stuck him in the pit, they put him there, and they said, we'll just say that a beast has devoured him. Joseph is innocent here. They are basically mocking his dreams, saying, well, we're not going to go into all of his dreams. Well, those dreams that he had dreamed, they talked about his brothers bowing down to him. And they didn't want anything to do with that. So he was in this pit, not sure what was going on. Let's look at verse 28. Same chapter 37, verse 28. Then there passed by Midianite merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt. Here we see Joseph stuck in a pit. They were feeling like they were going to be, brothers were going to let an animal devour him. But all these things started happening. He said, what am I going to do? What's more, the brothers at the same time were discussing this. Said, let's not kill him. Let's not. What should we do? They thought about it till the morning, and a group of Midianites came. They were buying up slaves, taking them to Egypt. They said, why don't we sell it to them? Sounds like Joseph probably is maybe figuring out what's going on here. He's thinking, I thought God had a plan for me. But he depended wholly and trusted fully in God. So when this group came by, they pulled him out of the pit. And they sold him. 17 years old, Joseph is at this time. 17 years old, like a teenager. And Joseph is sold, ends up a slave in Egypt. Thinking, I may never see my mother or my father again. His mother had already passed away, but he wouldn't be able to see his father again. He said, well, I'm serving the Lord. Second of all, what is your life request? First one is, what is your life response? Like Joseph's response. What would your response be? Thank you. This wasn't what the plan was that God had for me. Maybe you get laid off. Maybe something physically happens to you. You have no idea why that happened. But wait. Trust the Lord. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 7. You've heard this verse time and time again. We're going to look at it again. Verse 5 says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into thine own understanding. Some of you say, oh yeah. I've seen Christians who say, oh yes, trust in the Lord, that's right. But when it comes to figuring something out about life that doesn't seem right, we try to figure it out ourselves. We think, why is the devil attacking? Why are all these things being allowed to happen in my life? Look where it says, lean not on your own understanding. Do we always understand what's going on? No. Satan will sometimes use that. Say, see, you don't even understand what's going on. You know, maybe something happened to your child or your baby or somebody's passed away. You think, why this? But God has a plan. And it's a mystery to us. From birth until death, He has a plan. We don't know what it is. Just like Joseph. He didn't know that he was going to be a governor in Egypt. This is part of the mystery of his life. All he knew was that he was to trust the Lord, and then God would show him where He wanted him to go. It says, trust not, lean not unto thine own understanding. No confidence in self. Trying to figure it all out, it's really just a waste of time. But we can look into the Word of God. And just keep moving, and Christ will lead you the way He wants you. Keep yourself pure. Second of all, the second point, what is your life's request? What about Joseph's? What was Joseph's request? His life goal was to keep away from evil, to trust in God. Let's look in chapter 39, verse 2 of Genesis. It says, and the Lord was with Joseph. And he was a prosperous man. And he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. Joseph was realizing the Lord was still with him. Kept that relationship with God going, kept it open. And then more trouble came. What happened? 39 verse 9. Says, there is none greater in this house than I. Neither kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. And how can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Remember the story with Potiphar, put Joseph in charge of his house. His wife came out to Joseph and said, "How are you doing, Joseph?" Not sure what it sounded like in their language, but boy, you do good work. Started talking to him, started flattering him. Joseph started realizing what's going on. His life request was to remain pure. Our lives need to remain pure. We cannot trust the flesh. When we do, it's so dangerous. Very dangerous thing to do. Joseph is saying, no, the master's away. You know, even today, Christians, you hear about Christians that fall because they're left alone. Now we have cell phones. All these things that temptations are right there. Nobody can see. You think nobody's going to catch you. No, listen. You have to make a decision. I have determined to live pure. I decided to keep myself pure before the Lord. How can I do this great wickedness against the Lord, he's saying. How can I sin against God? God's eyes are in every place. No matter if we're being silly, we're playing around, we have dirty thoughts, no matter what, God sees us. He said, I'm not going to do it. Joseph escapes, leaves out of this place. And his wife had grabbed his coat. Joseph disappeared. He said, I don't care about the coat. Okay, get out of here. So the request of Joseph's life is to keep pure, keep clean, no matter who you are, no matter if no one is watching. Remain pure, period. Again, he ends up in prison. Verse 20. Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound. And he was there in the prison. So you say, wait a minute. Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, brought to a place in Egypt, finally got out of prison, became a housekeeper, and now he's back in prison again. He's thinking, Lord, I have a great relationship with you. God is saying, nothing's changed. God, whether I'm here, whether I'm there, God said, I'm still with you. And when you were just like the day we were saved, God saying, I am with you through all things. I know we are not perfect, but when we do sin, quickly ask forgiveness immediately. Keep our heart tender. Verse 14. Chapter 40, verse 14. It says, but think on me when it shall be well with thee, and show kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. The story that this is out of, you can remember the butler, the baker. Remember those two guys? He explained the dream to what was going to happen to them while they were all in prison. The butler and baker were about to get out. Remember the dream? That one person was going to die and one person was going to live. Didn't know who it was going to be. But that really did happen. Just before Joseph said this, he said, remember me When you get out, remember what I've done for you. Tell the Pharaoh about me. He said, okay, we'll do. And sure enough, one died, one lived. Joseph waited for 2 more years. And that must have meant that the butler or the baker had forgotten. Did Joseph give up right there and then? He didn't give up. So another year went by. Same thing happened. Just like us. No matter what happens, stay pure. Keep that relationship with the Lord. Keep it the way it started out. Here in Joseph, it says 2 more years. Finally, something happened. What is your life reward? That's number 3. What is your life reward? How many of you love getting rewards? I know I do. I love getting rewards. Many times you're working. It's like, well, I just want to do good work. I want to do what I'm supposed to do. And then someday you get a certificate or you get some kind of reward. It makes you feel good, doesn't it? Many things happen in life. You work hard, whatever you're doing. Don't give up. You may get a reward. It's like in our life. We stay pure. We witness. We stand for Christ. What about those 5 crowns? We get to heaven. And life is over. And I think 19 years. It's been a hard 19 years, I tell you. Sometimes my wife and I say, we need to move. The Lord will say, no, you need to stay. You need to stay. I know a lot of people quit along the way. But now Amelia has been taking pictures. She took pictures of us last week. I said, can you take a picture of me or a picture of the field? And for me say, yes. So she said, that's fine. So we got that picture. And it makes me think of the Bible, like the Apostle Paul. And we fought. And they explain. There's a person that gives up. What does Satan do when somebody gives up? He leaves them alone. They've already given up. But what about a person that says, I love the Lord. I want to serve Him. Satan is right on that person's back, attacking them, just pestering them. That's sometimes how you feel in life. Lord, I can't keep going. But you do anyways. You say, I need some kind of gas to keep me going, or water to keep me alive, or food to keep me alive. Spiritually speaking, the Word of God will help you make it through. Without the Word of God, we'd be done. Satan would just take over. We'd just be left with the bones. In our lives, we need to stick with it. Stay pure. In the life of Joseph, remember he said, if you leave, tell Pharaoh that I'm still here. He says, I remember the person who interpreted my dream when the king had a dream. He said, who was it? He said, was that Joseph? He said, yeah, bring him to me. They brought Joseph to him. So Joseph got brought out of jail, brought before the king. The king says, can you help me interpret this dream and tell me what it means? Chapter 39 through 42. Chapter 39 says, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath showed this show thee all this. There is none so discreet and wise as thou art. 40. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto my word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. Pharaoh said unto Joseph, See, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it upon Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures and fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. So Joseph said, what your dream means, there's going to be 7 years of fasting, 7 years of plenty. The first 7 will have no food. He said, wow, is this true? He placed this ring on his hand and gave him the fancy royal clothes and gave it to Joseph. And he thought, wow, it has been worth it to keep up the fight, to stay pure, to keep on going and not quit. Joseph loved the Lord. His reward was going to come. And that's when it came. Same with us. Our reward will be coming. Look in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. Look at verse 6 right now. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 6, it says, In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Joseph is saying, hold on to him, and he will guide your life. Verse 7 says, Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil. Depart from evil. Keep away from evil. Keep sin away from evil. Keep far away from trusting in the flesh. If you start bringing those things back and say, boy, I sure love the flesh and the things, that the pleasures of this world, what's going to happen down the road if you play with sin? We don't know. But you've heard from friends, you've heard their testimonies of other Christians whose lives just went crazy because they just gave into the flesh, and their lives and their testimony were ruined. It's always going to happen this way. Joseph knew it. He said, I'm not going to play with sin. Joseph said, how great a wickedness against the Lord. I cannot do this. Sin against God. God's watching everything I do. He said, you know what? This is not worth it. I want to keep myself pure. And he has this own request. We all have our own personal thing that we stand on. Devotions. Every morning. Get up in the morning. Read Scripture. Yes, it's hard. Yes, I know it's hard. Say, I want to get to know God better. Meet with Him every day because it's getting worse and worse out there. Can't imagine what it's going to be in 5 years. Start now. Stay away from evil. Practice staying away. Put those hedges up around you. Protect yourself with the Word of God like a soldier, it says in Ephesians chapter 6. The breastplate, the sword, you have the shield, the helmet, the shoes. You have all of those armor pieces. You have the shield that keeps away the devil's fiery darts. It's always hard to go back to where they once were. It's better to stay with it. Maybe you've heard some of my testimonies. My admonition to you today is to stay away from evil. I explained this morning in Sunday school about the mind. The mind is very dangerous thing. It's like glue. Things that you see, things that you hear, you take in, stick with you. I had a person tell me, this was a husband or wife who said, I'm not sitting here to preach against TV. I like watching TV, but I'm just saying be careful what you watch. Anyways, it's about this man who said, I decided I'm going to give up TV. We're going to throw it out in garbage. Said it's 95% of it's trash anyways. 5% of good programs, good movies, and they're hard to find as it is. So we got rid of this TV, so we're not having it in the house. He went on about his business. And the wife said, just a few weeks later, she said, I've noticed some things in your lives. You seem to be happier now. He said, really? He said, they've just given up TV, that's all it took? Because it gets into your mind. Things that you see. Now we have phones and iPads and all this technology. We've got to watch it. Advertisements are there. They just pop up. When my kids are watching it, we got to make sure those things are deleted or kept away from them. You say, why? Because I want God to use me. And when you get to heaven, you want to get a crown, don't you? I hope everyone gets a crown. Keep your heart pure before God. The life of Joseph, God put him in charge, second in command of all of Egypt. People one day came from other countries to get food from Egypt. He got married and he had 2 children. Trusted the Lord the whole time about his future. Kept his heart pure. And lastly, chapter 45, verse 9. Genesis chapter 45, verse 9, it says, Haste ye, go up to my father, and say to him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me the Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not. The story about Joseph's 11 brothers and how they came back. I'm not going to go into that whole story. But when they came to get food, Joseph revealed himself to them and said, I'm your brother. Remember, he said to them, he said, is your father still alive? And they said, yes. And Joseph was thrilled. He said, bring him back to me. I need to see. Don't wait. So they went back to Jacob. Gave him the news that Jacob was thanking the Lord that his son was still alive. He really thought that his son had been dead all these years. But praise the Lord. Joseph was still alive. So they all got together and fellowship, and they ended up staying until death. I didn't put down a note on this paper, but another paper I had it written with me. But he said, when he finally saw his father, 70 years old. So when you think about this, when his father was left his father's home at age 17, his father may have been in his 30s, maybe 40s, maybe 20 years, 15, 20 years he hadn't seen him. Father hadn't seen him, he hadn't seen his father. All events take place, the mysteries of life. And life is such a mystery. You don't know what's going to happen. But we are responsible to keep our hearts and lives pure. Because if there's filth in our heart, God cannot use us. Or he holds that ministry for us until we repent. How do we keep away from trusting the flesh? The answer is by studying the Word of God, building up the spiritual side, Not just Sundays and Wednesdays, but devotions every day. Studying. Getting the Daily Bread devotional. There are other devotionals out there that deal with our spiritual lives. Keep away from the flesh and trust in it. In Psalms, it says, "Thy word is in my heart, that I may not sin against thee." Keeping God's word in your heart, studying it, keeping it there, hiding it, realizing how precious it is. Stay away from sin. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for allowing me to preach your word related to the mysteries of life. Lord, help us today. So many things that are going on out there. Some things we don't understand. Help us to continue to trust in you, depend on you, to keep our lives pure, to continue serving the Lord, getting involved in ministry. Thank you for Brother Blaine preaching this morning about ministry and the value of it, staying involved. Pray, Lord, that the Holy Spirit will speak to hearts this afternoon. Thank you so much. We love you in Jesus' name.